That's dope. That's dope.
Oh, what's up, Misha? My mic was off, huh?
All right, yeah. Everything going on?
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Trading Alpha. Sorry, my mic was off there, but this is Wick here. Scott is not able to join us, so I'm going to be doing it myself. No worries here. On a big day, we had a CPI day plus the rates day, right? All in one. So, which is interesting because we normally don't have them on the same day. So it's a double whammy. It's been a lot of volatility. So let's talk about it, right? Everyone was expecting, because CPI came out and inflation was better than expected. So everyone expected a more dovish Powell talking. Dovish meaning he's open to cutting interest rates, right? That's why the markets all jumped ahead of the rates because CPI looked good. However, he's talking now, and he basically says that it's just one data point, and it's not enough. And he's actually being the opposite. So it's catching the market off guard today. So let's talk about how everything is reacting. Let's start with the Bitcoin daily chart, and then we'll get to where we are. But as always, let's talk about how we got there. So we always start in a stage one basing phase. Okay, I always identify this for you guys ahead of time and let you know where that resistance is breaking out, so we know where our levels are into stage two. As you can see, the green dot started. They went above our resistance level and broke out into stage two. This is how I catch all my trades. You know, if you follow me for a long time, you're very familiar with this. But once it breaks out into a stage two parabolic phase, all you really need to do, right, in that parabolic phase is follow the green dots. As long as they're printing, right, and you stay long, it's a high probability setup, okay? Then we went into a stage three basing pattern here and started to form all these topping signals that were confirmed. Now, I'm sure you see some more down here. These are not confirmed. We need one of the next two bars to close below the wick for it to confirm a top and see some more downside pressure. And when it's not confirmed, it's actually a bullish signal. So not confirmed, and eventually we confirm it, one right here, one right here, and one right here. Three topping signals in stage three with a shaded squeeze. For those of you new members, this lets us know that a violent extreme move is coming while we have topping signals, right? Very easy to delineate that this was headed for some downside action. And of course, you can see some red bars starting to form on the macro trend, right? That tells you on a macro scale what the trend is doing. Long story short, we get some Bs. The Bs are confirmed by green dots. This is my favorite setup. You see a little pop to the upside, and here we are getting rejected at resistance and forming brand new Ts. Now, Shardy, that uses my tools, she showed this to everyone, and she was 100% right. This was forming tops again at the same level that it was before, and we've seen some downside action, okay? But today, we got that pop up from CPI. Look at that, right? And everyone got bullish. What's very interesting is, after Powell came and changed the tone, right? Instead of talking about how rate cuts are possible now because we have good inflation, he talked about how it's not enough, and he still wants to, raise rates, and he's still talking hawkish is what it's called. And then we saw the price action pull back, okay? What's very interesting to me is that stocks is actually not doing as bad. I mean, crypto is actually reacting more sensitive to stocks, more sensitive to these rate hikes or talks of rate hikes than stocks are, okay? But talking about Bitcoin some more, let's zoom in here. As you guys know, when you get the tools, you get access to the Discord, the Alpha Discord. And yesterday I did a stream, and I'll let you guys know when we had this big down move that I'm really watching these two lines in the sand, these two purple lines here, especially this one right here. And I said that if we break above it, that's what I need to continue to be bullish on a medium time frame, right? This is not investing, this is medium time frame, okay? So that's where we are. I'm watching these levels still. I'm being patient. I normally don't do a lot of trades whenever we have these Fed events, because normally it takes a day for the market to absorb it and digest it. And then it has a move. And then sometimes it even has another day where it digests the move, right? And before you actually find out how the market wants to react, right? So I always just watch these days. And of course, now you can see what I'm looking at. I'm waiting for this to either break below these purple lines, right? Which leads me to believe that we'll retest the $65,000 area. Or if it stays above it, right? That's when we have another test of the all-time highs, in my opinion, okay? So that's Bitcoin there, guys. And don't worry, if we switch to the weekly chart just real quick. In fact, let's take off some of these tools so it's not cluttered. We'll take up all these topping signals here, and let's just have a clean look at the weekly charts, okay? Just as I said, right, as you go through the stage 1 and stage 3 basings and you break out into stage 2 and it goes parabolic, all you do is hold as long as we've had green dots. I've been saying this the whole bull market. We got in right early over here, guys. So all our members have been enjoying this long position where it's high probability setups. And look here, we're still printing green dots right here, okay? So still very bullish on an investment time frame, but when it comes to medium time frame swing trading, definitely there's no trades just yet, okay? So let's move on to the next chart now that we've talked about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin has reacted to the Fed. But now I want to also talk about the dollar. We also went over this in the stream yesterday for our members. The dollar is very interesting, okay? It's pulled up here, and the last time it pulled up to these levels, right, over here and here, Bitcoin actually dropped because it's inversely correlated, meaning that when the dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down. It has more pressure on it. And the last time that the dollar went up to these levels where we currently were at yesterday, we saw Bitcoin pull back to the same levels they were the last time the dollar went here. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is that the Bitcoin is very, very correlated to the macroeconomics, meaning what's happening with rates and what's happening with the US dollar, okay? And I told everyone on the Discord, watch what happens to the dollar tomorrow. And look what happened. We dropped on the dollar, Bitcoin went up, and then as Powell started to change his tone and surprise everyone, you know, the dollar started climbing back up and Bitcoin started climbing back down. Very easy to gauge these dynamics once you know what's going on, right? And then of course here we do have a topping signal that looks like it could be confirmed as well. So a lot of signals happening right here. This is why I say we give it 1 to 2 days, see how the market digests it, and then start looking for some signals. One thing I do like to do, I'm going to give you some alpha right now. Whenever we have these big market events, I like to look for assets that are outperforming the market. Why? Not to jump into them necessarily sometimes, but more so because when the market does gather its feet, you know, and starts to head back up, those assets like right now that are outperforming, like Injective, okay, they tend to do very, very well when the market starts to you know, gather its feet, as I said. Okay, so I watch these assets, and as you can see here, Injective. This is one I gave you guys, I think, last stream. But we've gone through a stage 4 downtrend. We teach you guys that whenever it drops below a track line and has red dots, that tells you that the micro trend is bearish, and red bars, it tells you that the macro trend is bearish. So micro and macro, you get a very good picture of the trend, and below the track line means that the momentum is also to the downside. You do no buying during any of these pop-ups. You're not faked out, okay? But then we get a squeeze shading here and here, letting you know that it's trying to break out. It wants a violent move to the upside. And as you can see here today, we got a little bit of good news before Powell surprised us, and Injective just shot up, right? But then again, being sensitive as crypto is to now macroeconomics, a very new dynamic here, it pulled back again. Okay. But again, watch this asset Injective because it does seem like it wants to outperform. Again, when the market gets better, these are the types of things that you want to focus on and be ready for. Okay. That's how you know what to look for these pops. Okay. Another one that I found was Rose, but let me show you how I found Rose. We just came up with a new product called the Trading Alpha Screener. Okay. And let me show you something that was very interesting. So what I basically did on the screen, or what this does, is all of our setups, our green dot setups that everyone loves above the track line, you can now search for those. You don't have to look through 100 different charts. You can simply go on the screener and say, listen, out of these markets, out of stocks, cryptocurrency, and Forex, let's go with cryptocurrencies. Let's go with the weekly chart for we want a really strong trend. Let's make sure that we have a green dot starting. I want just one green dot. I want to catch it really early, okay? And you know what? Let's make sure that there's enough volume in this move. Let's look for extreme volume. Okay, let's go down and hit that search button. Okay, what do we have? Well, look, we have one asset. That's Rose. That says that Rose is really outperforming. So let's look at Rose. You go in, you type in Rose, and as you can see here, I have a dollar sign at the top. I was doing a presentation to somebody, but Rose is popping up a lot, but on the weekly chart is what we scan for. And let's look at this. You got one green dot forming, guys. So this is how you catch the green dots right away as they're forming. There's no better way to do this, and you don't have to scan through hundreds of charts. Okay, so this is our next tool. It should be available sometime this month. This is the alpha screener. I just wanted to give you guys a preview. And of course, here's the extreme volume coming in, confirming this move over here. Okay, so what I'm saying is Rose as well is another asset that seems to be outperforming today, right? It's the only one that's got one green dot and extreme volume coming in. So watch this asset once the market starts to kind of gather its feet, okay? And that's how easy it is to use the screener. And I've given it to Scott, and we'll both be using it to catch assets, okay? Render is another one, guys, that I've been watching today that's been extra sensitive to these rate hikes, right? A lot of you guys know that I'm in Render. I like this project. And we can see left to right here, our tools work on point, man. This is why it's the biggest edge in the market. Here you have a topping signal. The next bar closes well below the wick of the topping signal, making this a confirmed top. What do you get after that? You get red dots, switching from green to red. That means the micro trend is starting to get bearish. Boom. Now the red bars turn, the bars turn red. Macroly, it's starting to get bearish as well. And then you get under a red track line. The momentum is starting to get worse. And you start having this downtrend all the way down. You sidestep all of this. This is the alpha that we get from the alpha bundle. You see a lot of bottom signals happening. I look for these bottoms to happen, not in a stage 4 downtrend, but then in a stage 1 basing, okay? And here we have two bottoms here. None of them are confirmed because there's no green dots, but we get to this one that kind of looks like a double bottom, and all of a sudden there's a green dot. This is our go long signal. This is my favorite setup, guys. But also, besides that, we also get a squeeze shading. This starts a lot of the bull markets, and look what happened. It started this one. This lets you know that an extreme move is coming and to watch for the breakout arrow next, which direction it is. It was to the upside. This would have been another entry. Okay, so we really, if you were playing this in the hourly, you could really have killed it on Render. And again, you know, you can also do this in the screener. You can screen for 4-hour, daily, and weekly charts. But what happened after that? You can see how sensitive it is to the rate talks, which is so interesting to me. I mean, this is altcoins, right? This is Render, right? Right after Powell says that, look how it dips, right? It's crazy. It's so crazy to see this, but I wanted to point this out. This was another strong one today that was really reacting to the rate. So I just wanted to hone that in and kind of just make you guys, you know, realize, really pay attention to the macroeconomics, you know, and the dollar. You know, or best case scenario, if you don't want to do that, you can always just, you know, set alerts for this stuff. But I like to pay attention because it keeps me aware of things that might happen, right? You pay attention to macroeconomics, and then you look at the charts to see if you can confirm that or time that better. That's how all macro funds actually work. Now, what's interesting is when we look at things like the Nasdaq, okay, the Nasdaq is very interesting. I mean, look at this bar right here. I mean, it's almost pulled back almost like nothing, right? We've had this reaction from Powell, and crypto has pulled back a lot, and stocks really aren't pulling back, right? Not that much, which is very interesting to me, okay? Even how hawkish he is. But now I'll give you another lesson. Here's some more alpha here, okay? So, of course, we went through a sideways basing pattern. We started to form those bottom signals, like I like to tell you guys, that are in the sideways basing pattern. We draw a resistance line, and when we break above it on green dots, that's your go signal. And look how it formed this lovely channel. I'm a big fan of channels. If you guys don't know about channels, go and YouTube them, okay? But a lot of people that aren't experienced in markets think that once you have a channel and it's touching the bottom and the top a lot of times, confirming that this is a valid channel, once it breaks, a lot of people get bearish. And that's not really the case, because in strong markets, what happens is you'll have a channel that'll finally lose some strength. It just needs a little bit of time to gather its feet. Right? Again, I like that saying. And then all of a sudden it breaks out into a brand new channel. This is what happens in bull markets, really strong bull markets. However, most times you'll have a channel that breaks, and then the new channel won't be at the same rate of ascent. It'll be a little bit weaker, okay? We do not see that here, okay? Stocks are still breaking out into channels with the same ascent rate as before, which is uber bullish. Now look what's happening. It breaks through the channel again, and now this rate of ascent is trying to go parabolic. It's even more so bullish than this one. And this is what I've said, guys. Once you reach all-time highs, above all-time highs, people get bearish, and it confuses the hell out of me, to be honest with you, because there's no overhead resistance. There's no sell orders of people that are trapped, waiting to break even, waiting to sell when it gets to those levels. Once you break all-time highs, there's no more resistance. It's clear skies, baby. And this is what we see. Break to all-time highs, right? Look here, here's the all-time high break. All of a sudden, we start going on a really parabolic channel to the upside, okay? So I wanted to point out, I love the Nasdaq. I am invested in the Nasdaq. It's another way for me to diversify. Okay, on average, the Nasdaq will give you back over time, if you did the historical back testing, 17% return per year. Okay, now granted, you'll have recessions and stuff, but overall, if you average it out, it comes out to about 17% return. So I really like the Nasdaq, and it is really showing great relative strength. Okay. With that said, guys, I want to let you know two things. One, if you want to catch more of my content here, you can look for me at 0hedge_. Okay, that's where you'll find me on Twitter if you want to see my content. Other than that, also know that we have a 25% off sale, not only on the indicators, but also on the Discord that comes with the indicators. They come together as a package. If you want to get this, head over to the comment section and you'll find the link to the site. Once you're at the site, find the Alpha Bundle yearly and you check out, make sure you type in 25 off. That'll drop the price substantially by 25%. Come join us, guys. We've been on fire. And with that said, I'll catch you next week on the next charts. Take care from Trading Alpha. Cheers, guys.